everybody that I know who has made a significant change in their life. They were on one path, they made a life-changing decision to go on a different path. Every single one of them are met with resistance from their inner circle. It's their friends, it's their family members, it's the people who you trusted who will say, "Ooh, are you sure? I don't know, does that sound healthy? That sounds a little risky. You're really gonna change career paths? You're really gonna move across the country? You're really gonna do this dieting thing indefinitely? It's not just a phase. You're gonna create a social media platform. You're gonna start doing vlogs. You're gonna create a YouTube channel. You're gonna, be an influencer? You wanna be a politician now?"
The destruction of human freedom. But like every one of the super states that preceded it, it has one iron rule. Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace.
So moving on, I want to tell you guys about this exchange that I had in the gym, I think 2 days ago. I was in there in the middle of a shoulder day. I was about 50% done with my sets. I'm in there doing rear delts. And I'm in between sets, and this guy comes up to me, young guy, probably mid to early 20s. And he comes up to me and he says, "Hey man, I just want to ask you, how do I get really, really lean?" Okay, so surely you can infer from that question that he sees me, he sees my physique, he sees that I'm 7% body fat. He sees that I'm obviously muscular and I know how to do the thing that he's asking about, what he wants to do. And so I'm always happy to talk to people at the gym, by the way, to walk through diet and exercise routines, talking about bodybuilding, powerlifting, whatever it may be. Obviously, my platform is devoted 1/3 of it to the fitness lifestyle, Christ culture, white identity, fitness lifestyle. I've written an entire 100-page book on BeholdenToTruth.com called Ascension, Achieving Physical, Spiritual, and Mental Mastery that lays out my 10 years, now 11 years of expertise in this field. And so going to the gym, I could just train at home. I could buy the equipment, train in my garage or whatever. But I actually enjoy training in public despite being introverted. I don't necessarily love people coming up to me and striking up conversations. It's not that I dislike it, but as I said, as a natural introvert, that's not something that I sit around hoping happens every day. But when it does happen, especially in the context of the gym, that is one of the reasons why I still choose to train in public, is because I actually do care about inspiring other people. I wouldn't have this platform if I wasn't interested in inspiring people to know the truth about Christian culture and about white identity and about how important the fitness lifestyle is. And you can't say, "Well, I'm an introvert, I just want to mind myself," yet still want to be an inspiration to other people. And so I put my personal character, my personal comfort zone aside, and I start doing these public vlogs, and I obviously am happy to engage with people on the fitness subject in person whenever those opportunities come up. And so the young guy's asking me questions, and he starts giving me some of his backstory about his adolescence. And it turns out this guy used to weigh 247 pounds. And he's my height. He's 5'9". And he tells me, "I used to weigh 240 something pounds. Now I'm 170 pounds. So he's lost 70 pounds already. Amazing accomplishment. Good looking guy, blonde hair, blue eyes, not super muscular, but not dramatically out of shape. As I just said, he's lost 70 pounds so far. But he wants to know how to get down to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% body fat. And these things take multiple years to figure out. It's not that anybody's unintelligent or they're just not working hard enough. It does take a while, and it absolutely will speed up your trajectory if you're willing to humble yourself and talk to somebody directly who has clearly figured it out. But what I really want to talk about this guy who actually ends up having a twin brother, his brother comes over and they have been going through this journey together where they've both gone from 250 some odd pounds down to 170-ish. And I love to see it. I love to see good-looking young white men taking their health into their own hands, mastering their self-discipline and their work ethic, and becoming more confident in the way they look and their abilities. But what they shared with me, being brothers, is that they come from a family of obesity. And as soon as they said that, I already predicted. I said, let me guess, one of the first things you ran into along this journey that you've been on, losing all this weight, I bet your family weren't so hot about your progress, were they? Sure enough, he says, yeah, at first they were really happy for me when I was losing 10, 20, 30 pounds, something like that. But then as the weight really started coming off, they started saying things like, oh, you're going to be anorexic and that this is all too much. You're putting too much energy into this. You're becoming obsessed. Keep in mind, these guys are still 30 pounds overweight in terms of just fat. They're nowhere near anorexic. You can't see their rib cages, okay? So what I want to talk to you guys about is this. I saw this motivational reel 10 years ago, and I want to read you the text of it. I won't play it because it would get struck for copyright. But the voiceover of this reel was the actor Tyrese doing a little bit of a commentary on what you will inevitably face anytime you set big goals in your life. And this is what he said. He said, your friends, family, and loved ones will be the first ones to try to talk you out of greatness. When you're ready to do something and try something new that's out of your comfort zone, out of your norm, they will always try to talk you out of doing something special and significant. That rings so true to me, and it's been true with everybody that I know who has made a significant change in their life. They were on one path, they made a life-changing decision to go on a different path. Every single one of them are met with resistance from their inner circle. It's their friends, it's their family members, it's the people who you trusted who will say, ooh, are you sure? I don't know. Does that sound healthy? That sounds a little risky. You're really going to change career paths? You're really going to move across the country? You're really going to do this dieting thing indefinitely? It's not just a phase. You're going to create a social media platform. You're going to start doing vlogs. You're going to create a YouTube channel. You're going to, be an influencer? You want to be a politician now? All of that negativity and discouragement comes from very first the inner circle of people who you formerly trusted, because they have this concept of you that is based on your pattern of history. They've seen in history up to the present that you have chronically overeaten. You've neglected your exercise. You didn't used to care about politics. You didn't used to be a Christian. You didn't used to be so outspoken about these things. Now all this stuff has changed, and it has basically broken their brain and their perception of you. And so they are now questioning your motives and your ability to institute these changes in your life. More importantly, it's holding a mirror up to them and their behavior, their worldviews, their belief systems, their understanding of history. And if it contradicts their worldview and their behaviors, then that obviously makes them uncomfortable. When you have these families who are chronically obese and they overfeed their children all the way through adolescence, into the teenage years, into their 20s, and then one of them decides, hey, fuck this, okay? I don't want to die at 45 years old of diabetes, heart failure, okay? I don't even like the way I look in the mirror. I'm self-conscious for a good reason, because I am obviously visibly unhealthy. I don't have any physical capabilities. I can't defend myself. I'm not strong. I can't even walk a mile. When the opposite sex looks at me, they're not attracted to me. These things are harming my self-worth. And I don't care what the media and what the school system are telling me, that I can be healthy at any weight or whatever. I don't feel good. So I'm going to do something about it. That's a good thing. That's a healthy thing. That's humbling yourself. That is the Christian ethos, is to humble oneself and to repent from their sinful behavior. Need I remind everybody? Gluttony and sloth are deadly sins. They are offenses to God. And if they are your daily behavior for years or decades of your life, you have a lot of humbling to do. You have a lot of repenting to do. And it's not too late. I say this as somebody who didn't walk foot into the gym until I was 27 or 28 years old. I wasn't on any sports teams. I actively avoided exercise. I binge ate. I did all the things that the average normie goy does in America, okay? So this isn't a personal indictment of anybody. I'm indicting myself over this. But I made a hard repentance and a hard turn in my life path, and I told my family about it, and they laughed at me. I told them, I'm going to build the physique of a Greek god, and they laughed at me because I had never done anything athletic in my life. I ate Pizza Hut, Papa John's, McDonald's, Wendy's every single day of my life. Okay, Pop-Tarts, Hot Pockets, corn dogs, all of the goy slop in the frozen aisle at Walmart, whatever it was, load up the shopping cart, order the pizza on the weekends, go to P.F. Chang's. That was my life. I used to make fun of people who went to the gym, okay? I had that perception that those fitness models and those athletes that you see who have these great physiques, that they're just obsessed with vanity, they're narcissistic, they only do it for the desire of sexual attention, whatever else. I said all these other things that your family members are going to say and your friend circle are going to say. I said, fuck all of that. And I said, I'm going to do this because I want to be happier with myself. I want a better work ethic. I want to be stronger mentally. I want to be able to turn away the things that everybody else seems unable to turn away. You put a piece of cheesecake in front of your average person and you say, hey, this thing tastes amazing. What are they going to do? They're going to eat it. You call up one of your friends. You say, hey, you want to go get some pizza tonight? They're probably going to say yes. Call up one of your friends. Hey, you want to go to the bar tonight, have some drinks? While you're there, you're going to order some shitty appetizer. They're going to do it. Hey, rather than go to the gym today, let's just stay home and watch a movie. They're going to do it. That is your average person. They don't have the discipline, the willpower, the delayed gratification, the foresight to say, I'm going to do what is more difficult today so that I have a better future. They just can't do it. And I didn't want to be that person anymore. I didn't want to be the average who is actually sub-average person anymore. I wanted to look better, be more confident, but more importantly, I wanted to be a person of a different character. Somebody who does things intentionally because they're difficult. My entire life, I had avoided things because they were difficult. I dropped out of college, right out of high school, because it was difficult. I didn't exercise because it was difficult. I didn't diet because it was difficult. And in my late 20s, I said, if you're going to be a inspiring father one day, a trustworthy husband one day, if you want to be a role model for the community around you, how are you going to do that when literally nothing in your life is inspirational? You haven't shown anybody that you can do anything significant. So when is that going to change? Why would it change? If you don't change, why would that change? And so I just put all these pieces together and said, I got to start working like 100 times harder than I have my entire life. And so I committed to going to the gym like 3 or 4 days a week. I committed to tracking my calories. I committed to doing a lot of research about different types of exercise routines, finally figuring out the difference between cardio, hypertrophy training, powerlifting, CrossFit, figuring out what aligned with my goals, figuring out how to cook was a huge part, how to cook meals that are calorically appropriate, macronutrients being in line, high protein, trying to figure out how all that fits into a budget because yes, dieting is more expensive than eating the traditional goy slop where you can buy 10 zillion calorie meals for $4, but they're all just sugar or other forms of carbs. So figuring out how to economically afford and cook meals that taste good, that are satiating, that fuel good workouts, that change your physique over time, add muscle, reduce fat. That is all an education that you accrue over the first 6 to 12 months of your devotion to the fitness lifestyle. And every single week, when the weekend comes, the family says, hey, we're making lasagna tonight. Come chow down. You have to have the mental fortitude to either say, sorry, man, that just doesn't fit. I'm happy to spend time with you guys, but I got to bring my own meal. And they're going to judge you for that. You know, like, I don't know how to avoid this. It's either that or you have to be extremely disciplined to have delicious food in very small moderation. So that lasagna that you made with full fat cheese, full fat beef, a bunch of cream cheese in it, mozzarella, Parmesan. Oh, don't forget the side of garlic bread. Oh, don't forget the side salad. Of course, they prepared dessert as well. You got to say, look, this is like a fucking 18 to 2,000 calorie meal, okay? I already had breakfast. I already had lunch today. I can't come over and suddenly come up with 2,000 calories worth of room for dinner and dessert. So you either got to be disciplined enough to have a few bites, say this is delicious, good job cooking it, let's enjoy the company of our shared time together. Or you got to say, I'm going to bring my own meal, and it's more about the time together than it is the meal that tastes good. And there's going to be some feelings that are hurt when you have to decline these offers for socialization or decline the food that people prepared with love, which honestly is a little questionable. How loving is it to poison your family? How loving is it to poison the people you care about? Hey, I made 4 batches of chocolate chip cookies. Would you like me to send you home with 2 dozen of them? Yeah, that's what I really need. And the people who aren't living this lifestyle, they'll never understand. They'll think you're weirdly obsessed. They'll think that you are vain and wanting to look a certain way and putting that above the kind gestures of other people preparing these foods for you or whatever. It also relates to your sleep schedule and other just things that get elbowed out of your life. No, I can't afford to go out bar hopping with you on Friday night, Saturday night, whenever it may be, until 3 o'clock in the morning, pounding shots and eating McDonald's at 1 a.m. when I know I need to be rested for my workout the next day. I know I can't afford the extra calories. I know what happens to protein synthesis when I poison myself with alcohol and I'm dehydrated the next day. You do your research, you figure out these things, and you start to stand on your values. They're going to say, oh, what? You value your fitness pursuits more than you value our friendship? How about this? Can't we have a friendship without bar hopping? Can't we have a friendship without shoveling thousands of calories into our mouth or without binge drinking? Really, is that what's required to have a friendship with you or required to spend time together as a family? I have to indulge in gluttony in order to feel loved by you? I don't feel that way towards you. I'm not even imposing my diet or preferences on you. I still love you. I still want to spend time with you. And so I've seen this generational thing countless times where somebody takes full control and accountability over their life. They want to do better. And the saboteurs, the Judases in their life, try to discourage them, make fun of them, mock them, many different ways to try to interrupt their progress. It's largely because of their self-consciousness. They don't want to see you climbing the ladder and leaving them distanced from you, right? That's just kind of how it is. It's a lot like when one person starts making a lot of money, everybody else who's not doing big things, who isn't investing in their education, who isn't grinding, who isn't pursuing some kind of entrepreneurial endeavor, that's where the jealousy comes from. That's where the self-consciousness and the reflection of the gap between you comes from. So whenever you set out on that big goal, know that in very short order, the discouragement is going to come from within the ranks. And if you do these things publicly, you'll get public haters too. People will roll their eyes at the gym. If you're doing it on social media, they'll leave their comments there. They'll send you nasty messages there. So I just thought that was interesting, that exchange at the gym. It's a story I've heard a million times. I met it in every single thing that I have actually accomplished in life. When I said, I'm going to go back to school, they said, oh, that's going to be difficult to do while you're working full time. Yeah, no shit. I know that. I'm willing to do it. When I said, I'm going to move across the country, sell everything I own, go to the West Coast, try to accelerate my career, spent my whole life in Alabama before that. That's a dramatically different culture. Do you already have a job lined up there? No, but I'm just confident. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to take this risk. I'll figure it out. This is important to me. When I, as I said, got into the fitness stuff, you didn't used to be athletic before. You didn't used to care about dieting before. And then, of course, with Beholden To Truth and this social media platform, started talking about politics. Well, you didn't used to be political before. I became Christian. I was born again in 2019 at 33 years old. Suddenly you're Mr. Christian now. Suddenly you're Mr. Traditional. You're talking about abortion and gay marriage and feminism and all. You didn't used to have a problem with these things before. the peanut gallery, the discouragers, the saboteurs, and the Judases. You just have to tune them out and do you. Focus on what you know is truthfully good for yourself. Accruing education, professional experience, developing your spiritual relationship with God, and investing in your physical health. There is no doubt whatsoever that these things will always be good for you. The more of them that you do, the better off you will be. The more of them that you do, the more other people will notice, and their commentary on that observation reveals their character. If they are happy and celebrating that you're in the best shape of your life, that you've lost the weight, that you've gained muscle, then that's a good friend. That's a good family member. If they're happy that you're taking this bold move in your career, if they're happy that you're finally expressing your true self politically, religiously, whatever, even if they disagree with you, if they at least support you and they talk to you, then those are the people you keep in your inner circle. But those who you don't need to involve in your inner circle, they'll reveal themselves. And you can still have a relationship with them, but everything that comes out of their mouth, you have to understand, is a reflection of the gap between the two of you and their silent disappointment in themselves that makes them resentful towards you. It's quite the journey. I've seen it, as I said, in every facet of my life. Everything that I've actually accomplished took years to accomplish, but from the very beginning, this discouragement was always in my ear. Family members, friends, strangers, everybody. You just got to tune all that nonsense out. So until next time, you guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I got to go get my chest day in. In the meantime, if you want to support Beholden to Truth, if you care about white identity, you care about our Christian culture, or you need to pursue the fitness lifestyle with a bit more urgency, but you don't know where to start, or you just want the inside tips from somebody who is highly advanced in this, go to beholdentotruth.com. I have my 100-page masterclass, Ascension, Achieving Physical, Spiritual, and Mental Mastery. It is the full blueprint on how to do all these things simultaneously with the science and everything else. Also, you can support the platform. Get yourself a Save Europa hoodie, tank top, whatever else you may need, t-shirt, or a anti-zog, as you may have seen on my last vlog. Get yourself some apparel from beholdentotruth.com. Either of those help a lot in supporting the platform. Lastly, we have our Substack, where all of these long format episodes and my documentaries and my interviews, they first drop on Substack in full form, uncut, unedited, and a lot of times exclusively. I then take these content and pieces of them, put them on YouTube, but to get the full uncut episodes, early access to them, and exclusive material, you can help me out by subscribing over on beholdentotruth.substack.com. So until next time, you guys, I love you. Take care of yourselves. America first, and Christ is King.
Our country is at an inflection point. We can all feel it. And now is not the time to be a physically, mentally, or spiritually weak man. I've spent the last 10 years creating a blueprint for unfucking your life up, and it's a lot more than cleaning your room. How to achieve physical, mental, and spiritual mastery gives you a layman's understanding of how to master dieting and exercise, get the most out of your time, build ironclad mental fortitude, and leverage your faith to become a role model among men, something we desperately need right now in this time of war. I break down how to create a sustainable, flexible diet from scratch, how to organize your fitness routine, supplementation, and I dispel many myths and provide many red pills on dieting and exercise. The book is on sale right now at beholdentotruth.com for 20% off. Or you can get a free copy if you're a founding member of my Substack, which would also include a one-on-one 30-minute session with yours truly where you can ask me anything. Go to beholdentotruth.com right now to become the man that you were meant to be, and the man that we desperately need you to be.